Okay. Once again, good morning, everybody. In the last class, we looked into the case study. Uh, the case study that we looked into was Air Deccan, and the entrepreneur is Captain G.R. Gopinath. And in today's class, we will look into the small scale, micro, and small scale industries. Uh, what is the meaning of that? What is the characteristics? Okay, definition of micro and small enterprises, characteristics, advantages of micro and small enterprises, and what are the steps in establishing micro and small enterprises, and Government of India Industry Policy 2007 on micro and small enterprises. Then we will look into the institutional support. What is the meaning of a institutional support? Is government has set up many agencies, okay, that will help with various stages of the entrepreneur. So some help with the registration some help with the technology, some help with the knowledge about the raw material, how to acquire it. Some departments help with the different types of projects that can be carried out, and some department help with the marketing, sales, and some department help with the finance. So these are the various support system, institutional support system that is created by government agencies. Government agencies, when we say, it includes both state government agencies as well as the central government agencies. Okay, these are the different agencies. We'll look into that. The most important thing is the DIC. So DIC, for any of your needs, DIC, District Industries Center. It is located in Udyambag. Uh, you can, whenever you are coming to this area, you can take a look. It is almost in front of the Raghavendra Hotel, and besides the petrol bunk. So that is, you can see District Industry Center. That can be one point which will connect you to various other departments as per your needs. It will connect you to the various other departments. Also, they conduct the EDPs, entrepreneur development programs, in various technologies to boost the entrepreneurs and provide guidance. Then we have case studies. Microsoft, Captain GR Gopinath, this is already we saw, and about the Infosys, we will look into those case studies. So let us start with the small scale, micro and small scale industries. What is the definition? The definition of the micro and the small scale industry, it varies from one country to another, from one time to another in the same country, depending upon the pattern and stage of development, government policy, and administrative setup of the particular countries. So the definition, as it states, the definition keeps on varying. Definition for a particular time is a certain valid definition. Over the next time, that definition will modify. So because of the government policies, how they see the that particular sector. So it depends from country to country, and within the same country, from it can change from time frame, depending upon the kind of policies that government comes up with. The definition that was given for micro and small industries after independence, it keep on changing till today. Like it will be keep on changing. We'll see why that things change. You can see there are at least 50 different definitions of small scale industry, and used in 75 countries. In some countries of the world, the criteria of defining small enterprise is related to the size of the employment. When they are defining the micro or the small or the medium enterprises, their definition is based on the size of the employment. Size of the employment, how many employees will be required to run that industry, will decide the that is the deciding factor for the definition of micro or the small industries. For example, in case of USA, small enterprises, like if there are around 500 people that is working in an organization, that organization is called as a small enterprise. Similarly, in United Kingdom, 20 skilled laborers, less than 20 skilled laborers, that is considered as a small enterprise. In case of Germany, less than 300, and in Italy, less than 50 people. So it will keep on changing from country to country. However, the most of the countries, the definition of small scale industries are related either with the investment or size of the employment. So the definition is either based on the size of the employment, how many employees they are going to recruit, and or the investment means how much is the investment, whether it's a 1 crore, 2 crore, 5 crore, either on the size of the employment or the investment amount, or both. The definition of small scale industry is an important aspect of government policy as it identify the target groups. So, defining the small scale micro industries is an important aspect of the government policy, and because it identifies the target groups. As I told you, government can put certain products in the small scale industry, so that those are either they are protected, or they are scarce, and or there is a dependency on foreign countries. So it will have some target groups or the target products. The first official criteria of small scale industry in India dates back to second 5-year plan, when it was in terms of a gross investment in land, building, plant, machinery, and the strength of the labor force. So the definition was based on the how much was the investment in land for setting up the industry, setting up the enterprise, the land requirement, the building structure, the plant, the machinery that are required, and the strength of the labor force. Depending upon all these things, the definition was given. This was as per the second 5-year plan. And based on the recommendation of FASI, Federal Association of Small Industries of India, then they changed the definition. Then they considered only the investment in the fixed assets. Okay, so what is the fixed assets in plant and the machinery? So they removed all other aspects. They changed the definition as investment in the fixed asset. That is the plant and the machinery. Fixed asset is like once you acquire the machinery, that becomes your fixed asset. Once it acquire the plant, it becomes the fixed asset. Whatever is investment involved in setting up the plant and the machinery is considered for the definition of a particular definition of that particular enterprise. Okay, and if this plant or the machinery, it can be in either on the ownership terms, or it can be a lease or a higher basis, whichever the basis, it is considered all of them. For small scale industries, the Planning Commission of India uses the terms village and cottage industries. So also the Planning Commission, earlier it was called as a Planning Commission. Now the Planning Commission has been changed into Niti Aayog. I told you, like in 2014, I guess, Planning Commission was dismantled, and Niti Aayog, that has the similar responsibility as the Planning Commission. So they call the small scale industries with the terms as the village or the cottage industry. And these include modern scale industries and the traditional cottage and household industry. So it includes all the either it's a modern small scale industry, or if you have any traditional or a household industry, that is also included. An ancillary unit is one which sells not less than 50% of its manufacturers to one or more industrial units. Ancillary unit is also considered as a small scale industry. Ancillary units are the one which does not produce the end product. They produce the spare parts. For example, in Belgaum, we have many industries which produce the some parts of the automobile, which is supplied to the automobile industries. So they don't produce the complete end product. They produce some spare parts, maybe nuts, bolts, things like that. So whatever is required as a spare parts, those are the ancillary units. So these are the types of small scale industries. Okay. Modern small scale industries, cottage industry, village industry, and ancillary industry. All those these categories are considered as a small scale industry. Okay. So before we start with the characteristic, MSME. So we have Ministry of Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises. Okay. That particular ministry which takes care of micro, small, and medium enterprises, they have the definition. One second, please hold on. Okay, as per the Ministry of Micro and Small and Medium Enterprises, this is the definition. The Government of India has enacted the Micro, Small, and the Medium Enterprise Development (MSMED) Act 2006, in terms of which the definition of micro, small, and medium enterprises is as under. So this is the definition: enterprises engaged in the manufacture or production, processing, or preservation of goods as specified below. Okay, whichever enterprise that is involved in any kind of a manufacturing, production, processing, and preserving activities of goods, they are defined like this. A micro enterprise is an enterprise where the investment in plant and machinery does not exceed rupees 25 lakh. So micro enterprise is considered if the investment in plant and the machinery is less than or equal to 25 lakhs. A small enterprise is an enterprise where the investment ranges from the 25 lakhs to up to 5 crores. Up to 5 crores, that is considered as the a small enterprise. And the medium enterprise, the investment in plant and machinery is from rupees 5 crores to about 10 crores. Okay. So these are the definition, and this is according to as per the website I got from the government website. This definition will keep on changing, right? The amount what is specified, this has kept on changing. So we have to refer to the recent definition. This is as per now. And enterprises who are engaged in providing or rendering of services and whose investment in equipment, original cost including land and building and furniture, fittings, and other items not directly related to the service rendered or as may be notified under MSMED Act 2006 are specified below. So this definition is for those enterprises who are engaged in providing or rendering of services. Okay. And whose investment in equipment, whatever the equipment they need for providing the services or rendering the services, uh, based on that, a micro enterprise is an enterprise where the investment in equipment does not exceed 10 lakh. Means a particular enterprise is considered as micro if the investment in the equipment does not exceed 10 lakh, and a small enterprise in this particular category can have investment of rupees 10 lakh to 2 crore, and it will be considered as the small enterprise. And the medium enterprise is an enterprise where the investment is from 2 crores to 5 crores. This is the definition as per the standards that are provided now. Now we'll see what are the characteristics of the small scale industries. A small unit is generally a one-man show. Okay. Normally, if you see the small scale industry, it is owned by a one person and it is run by a one person. That is how it's a one-man show. Even if SSI is run on partnership or company, the activities carried out by one of the partners or directors, the others are the sleeping partner. Most of the times, like one person will be carrying out the activity. There could be partnership could be there. There could be partners. Most of the time they are for the sake of the investment. Okay. And or they are like sleeping partners who just invest, and the show is run by one particular person who is a entrepreneur. In case of a small scale industry, the owner himself or herself is a manager, and also hence small scale industry is managed in a personalized fashion. So basically, the manager, the boss, everything is the entrepreneur who has the enterprise, and he is the one who is crucial in making all the decisions for that particular SSI. The scope of operation of SSI is generally localized, catering to local and regional requirements. Normally, the small scale industries, they cater to the local needs, whatever is the local needs, and whatever is the regional demand, it will cater to that. The gestation period, that is the period after which return on investment starts relatively lower when compared to a large unit. What is a gestation period is whenever you make a certain investment, you procure products, and you start working on that and you convert it into a product. That is called as a gestation time. The gestation time is comparatively small here. So if gestation time is smaller, then return on his investment would be is like faster. If you compare it to the large industries, for example, a particular large scale industry manufacturing the car, uh, the if you see the procuring the raw material and making the car to the selling the car, it is a longer period. Okay. But in small scale industries, that gestation period is very small, so that it will help the industry. Next is SSIs are fairly labor intensive with comparatively smaller capital investment. Normally, compared to other medium or the large scale, the investment is less, and it will be more labor intensive. Labor intensive means it needs more employees to work on the enterprise. So that is how it is a labor intensive. Small units use indigenous resources and therefore can be located anywhere, subject to the availability of these resources like raw materials, labors, etc. Okay, so the small scale industry, the small units, they use the indigenous records, indigenous resources, and because it uses the indigenous resources, it can be located anywhere. Only thing it has, we have to check is the availability of the raw material and the availability of the labor. Using local resources, small units are decentralized and dispersed to rural areas. The small units promote balanced regional development and prevent the influx of job seekers from rural areas to cities. One of the advantage of having the small units is like we can have a decentralized system, and it can be moved into rural areas. And by moving this into rural area, we can avoid the imbalance of the regional development. So what is the meaning of that is the development will equally happen in the urban areas as well as the rural area. The development is not only restricted to the urban area, where people from the rural area try to come to the cities. Okay, so there is an unbalance. On the rural, there is no development. On the urban side, there is a lot of development, a lot of migration from the rural areas to urban areas, causing many other problems. So small scale units can be in rural areas, and that is how they can balance the development in that particular region. Small scale units are more change susceptible, highly reactive, receptive to socio-economic conditions. They are more flexible to adopt change, like introduction to new products, new method of production, new materials, new markets, new form of organization. So if you see small scale units, they are very agile. They are easily, they can be changed for a new technology, for new process, or a new idea. uh, that is the one advantage of the small scale uh, unit. Okay, rational. Okay, rational. Emphasizing the very rational of small scale industry in the Indian economy, the Industrial Policy Resolution IPR 1956 stated, they provide immediate large scale employment. They offer a method of ensuring a more equitable distribution of the regional income. One of the biggest advantage, the rationale behind is having a SSI is like it is labor intensive and it generates a lot of employment. Second one is since it can be set up in any urban or a rural area according to the availability of the labor and the raw materials, the regional development can be balanced. They facilitate an effective mobilization of resources of capital skill which might otherwise unutilized. So they will help in using the resources, okay, the capital and the skill. So that is how we can generate more products. Example for this is like um, uh, a particular farmland is there. If capital is not used, means if investment is not done and if labor is not used, we cannot grow anything there. Okay, if we use the capital, so because for seeds and fertilizers, there is a investment involved in that. So when you invest a capital and when you employ the people to work on the farm, we can produce the food grains. So that is how we can mobilize. Some of the problems that unplanned urbanization tends to create will be avoided by the establishment of small centers of industrial production all over the country. So, whatever the unplanned urbanization that happened earlier, that can be avoided using creating a small industrial centers all over the country, like in a rural area, then not only focusing on the urban area, focusing on the rural area, we can avoid the unplanned urbanization. The rationale of small scale industries so established can be broadly classified into four arguments as discussed below. So, the rationale behind creating the small scale industry can be put it into classified into four arguments. One is the employment argument. We already know the employment argument. Small scale units, they are labor intensive, so they need more labor per unit of investment. The employment generation capacity of the small scale industry is very very high. The employment that is generated every year, 70 to 80% of the employments comes from the small scale industries. So that is the that fulfills the employment argument. Equality argument, as we know, these industries can be set up anywhere. These can be distributed all over the country. That is how the wealth is distributed. So when you have industries set up over all over the places, people will get jobs everywhere. They will get salary. That is how wealth is created everywhere. That is the equality argument. This is based on two major consideration. Compared to ownership of large scale units, the ownership of small scale units is widespread. Okay, they're more labor intensive nature, and decentralization and dispersal to rural and backward areas provide more employment opportunity to the unemployed. Most of these small scale units are proprietary or partnership concerns. The relations between the workers and employees are more harmonious in small scale units than large scale units. So, compared to large scale units, the small scale units are widespread. They are labor intensive, they generate lot of employment. They generate a lot of employment. And if you see, like the small scale industries, proprietary, the nature of the ownership is like a proprietary or partnership. Very few people will be running the business, and they will be directly interacting with the employees. The relation between the employer and employee in case of a small scale units is much better than if you see the large scale units. Decentralization argument. The decentralization, the big industries are concentrated everywhere in urban areas, but small industries can be located in rural or semi-urban areas to use local resources and cater to the local demands. Okay, the decentralization is like we are not restricted to one central place. As big industries, they are restricted to only urban areas due to various reasons. Okay, small scale industries can be decentralized. We need not have it in a one location. We can distribute. That is how it will it promotes the balance in the regional development. Though it is possible to start small scale industry in every village, but it is quite possible to start small units in a group of villages. Decentralization will help tap local resources, idle savings, and local talents, and improve the standards of living even in erstwhile backward areas. So decentralization, it will help the local resources, whichever is the local resources, human resources or material resources. Idle savings. Idle savings means if some capital is not being utilized, that is the idle savings. That can be utilized. Local talents can be utilized even in the backward areas. So one good example is the economy of the Punjab. If you see, there are a lot of entrepreneurship in terms of agriculture. So we see the spread of the development in Punjab is across all the state. It is not focused to certain cities, which has more small scale units than even in the industrially developed state of Maharashtra. So, Punjab is the state where there are a lot of small scale units are there. And if you compare to Maharashtra, where it is highly industrialized, but many of the industries are very large scale industries. Then latent resource argument. Okay, according to this argument, small enterprises are capable of mapping up talent, unutilized resources like hoarded wealth and ideal entrepreneurial ability. Dhar and Lidl feel that the real source of the latent resource argument lies in the existence of entrepreneurial sales. Latent resources like the resource that can be tapped. That is the new resources that can be tapped. That is in terms of the entrepreneur. By developing an entrepreneur, that their talent can be used as a setting up a small scale unit. Okay, there is also the other aspect is they doubt the force of this latent resource argument. Their assertion does not appear to be very sound simply because of the fact that the small entrepreneurs were present in abundance. Then, what obstructed the growth of small enterprises? Emergence of entrepreneurial class requires a conducive environment. The impressive growth in the number of small enterprises post-independent periods. Okay, the necessary conditions such as power and credit facilities, latent resources, of entrepreneurship can be tapped by the growth of small enterprises only. So how to tap that latent resources? By providing some kind of a incentives, and creating the necessary condition, such as the whatever the power requirement. If there is a credit facility, there is some kind of a assistance that can be provided uh, by incorporating all those things. Or if you see nowadays, like they are setting up the cluster, okay, industrial cluster, where everything will be readily available, the land will be developed, water connection, electricity connection will be there for the entrepreneur, so he need not worry. And also those the industrial clusters will have a easy process of purchasing and setting up the industry. Okay, what are the objectives? There are various objectives of developing a small scale industry, and all these objectives already we implied in one or the other way. So, implied in the sense it is already understood when we set up the small scale industries. The objectives are already implied, and what are those objectives? So it generates a immediate and large scale employment opportunities with very relatively low investment. Why immediate is because the turnaround time for setting up a small scale industry is much smaller, and yeah, once it is set up, when turnaround time is smaller, maybe like 3 to 6 months, industry can set up, and immediately it produces lot of requirement for the employment. So that is the one advantage, and with a relatively low amount of investment. Again, the next one is to eradicate the unemployment problem of the country. So government uses development of the small scale industries as a tool to eradicate the unemployment. Encourage dispersal of industries to all over the country, covering small towns, villages, and economically lagging regions. So these small scale industries will help in making the industry, all the industrial activities to be dispersed in even the remotest of the places of the country. That is how the region balance will be achieved. To bring back backward areas to in the mainstream of national development. If there is any backward area that can be brought into the mainstream development of the country. Promote balanced regional development. Okay, so this is very very important. This has been learned from the history. The development of certain region will always causes a problem. It attracts people from all over the country for employment, and which creates a lot of other problems. Okay, so balanced regional development, where people need not go to other places for the sake of the jobs, to ensure more equitable distribution of national income. So this is one of the most important thing. Whatever the national wealth, it is distributed among all, not equally, but among all. To encourage effective mobilization of countries' untapped resources. Okay, there are many untapped resources. Small scale industry will help in tapping those resources and making those resources mobilize the capital, and the using the employees, and generate the products which can be a valuable asset for the country, which can help in exporting or making a particular country self-sufficient, or it can produce surplus which can be exported to other countries. to improve the standard of living of the people in the country. So this is one way of improving the standard of the people, because people will get employment, they will get the wealth, and that is how their standard of living will improve. The scope, okay, scope of small scale industry is quite vast, covering wide range of activities. So the when you talk about the scope, under the small scale industry, we can have any kind of a business from various sectors. We can have small scale industries. These activities are characterized by labor intensive, need less capital, require less sophisticated technology, that we already understood. So we don't need to import any of these material from the outside. Material, not only the material, technology. So with the local technology which is available, we can set up the small scale industry. The activities which are found particularly amenable can be successfully operated in small scale, are too many to mention. So some of the important ones are mentioned here. Manufacturing activities. When we say manufacturing activity, it is a huge sector. So manufacturing activity will involve small scale industries which are working as an ancillary, producing a very small parts, just the nuts and bolts. It can have its own industry. It can support many employees. It can generate a lot of revenues. So manufacturing is the huge scope, because manufacturing has to cater to the all the machinery requirements, all the requirements of the development. For example, if you want to construct the house, you need the rod, okay, the iron rods, okay. There are a lot of other tools that are required. Those needs to be manufactured. Automobiles, okay. For automobiles, manufacturing is the backbone for producing the automobile successfully. Then servicing and repairing activities. So these can be, there can be small scale industries covering this scope. Retailing activities, retail businesses, financial activities, like financial activities is like supporting all the finance related things, managing funds. In that area, we can have the small scale enterprises. Wholesale businesses and construction activities, infrastructural activities like transportation and communication. These are the various sectors where we can have the small scale industry. The wholesale businesses, as I told you, wholesale business and the retail businesses. Wholesale business is the one who purchases from a manufacturer in bulk, okay, and he gives it to the retailers. Retailers will sell it to the end users. So there is a different stages has a different margin. Wholesale business has certain margin, and then retail business has certain margin. Some of important items reserved for the exclusive development in small sector are these items reserved. This list will keep on changing. Okay, with there are a lot of changes in the production or economy. The number of items reserved will keep on changing. Okay, so what are those items? Food and allied industries, whatever it is, the small sector that are related to food and allied industries. Textile products, leather and leather products, footwears, plastic and rubber products, chemical and chemical products, glass and ceramic, pressure stove, electrical appliances, boats, and truck bodybuilding. Okay, so these are the some of the items reserved in the small scale industries. Then other things are auto parts components, bicycle parts, tricycles, survey instruments, sports goods, stationery items, clocks and watches. Role of small scale industry in economic development. So what is the role that is played by the small scale industry in development of the particular economy? As already we have seen lot of points. One of the point is like it is labor intensive. So definitely it will help in terms of a providing the employment. So this will help with increasing the employment. Second thing is, since small scale industries can be set up in any rural, backward, or semi-urban, any kind of areas, it will give us a regional balance and regional sharing of the wealth. So those are the some of the important aspects. Economic development is defined in number of ways. The commonest definition could be an increase in the real per capita income of a person, resulting in an improvement of the levels of the living. So, economic development, there are various factors that are used for measuring the economic development. One of the parameter is the increase in the per capita income. What is per capita income? The income that is getting per person. So total income divided by the population of the country, that will give the per capita income. That increase in the per capita income is the yeah, indication of the economic development. The development of small scale industries contribute to increase in the per capita income. So this development of more small scale industries, increase of more small scale industry, that will help in increasing the per capita income. The role of small scale industries in economic development is as given below. One is the first one is the employment. As we said, SSI will be labor intensive. Okay, so we will need more employees to work on the small scale industry compared to large scale industry. So you can see small scale industry accounts for 75% of the total employment in the industrial sector. So if you see the number of employments generated, SSI accounts for around 75%. And SSI provides self-employment to artisans, technically qualified persons, and professionals. These industries also offer employment to farmers when they are idle. So, like the farmers, their pattern of work is like seasonal. Okay, on in certain time of a year, they will not be having any kind of a work. So these industries can offer the farmers the employment during that seasonal periods. Okay, optimization of capital that you will see in the next class.